Oh my God, that is quick. Let's go on the brake. Well, that's interesting. Hasn't got a hill hold. That's really surprising. You don't drive many cars these days that don't have like an auto hold function there when you're in an off-road mode, so a little bit disappointing. G'day, I'm Paul. Big American pickup trucks, they put a big smile on my face, especially when they have more power. This is the new Ram 1500. They have ditched the V8 and replaced it instead with a 6-cylinder. And that had me concerned up until we did a drag race recently, and this clocked a 0 to 100 time of just over 5 seconds. In a vehicle like this, 5 seconds 0 to 100 is literally insane. So we're going to do a full review of this. It's new Ram 1500 with the Hurricane 6-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine. We're going to do a bit of light off-roading as well. If you do want to skip ahead to other parts of this video, you can use the time codes that are on the screen, or if you're on YouTube, you can scroll down and use the chapters below. Just on pricing, the whole range kicks off at over 140 grand now, with this, the top spec limited version, costing around $160,000. They haven't really gone too wild with price changes, and we are expecting to see some cheaper entry-level models coming at a later date. But just for the moment, you've got the Laramie Sport at the base, and then this being the limited as the top spec. Now, in terms of design, look, not much has changed with this. They've stuck to a pretty decent formula here and kept it very much the same. So you've got piano black finish on the front here, LED headlights. On the bonnet, you've got bonnet vents that aren't really bonnet vents. They serve no purpose at all, which is weird. But anyway, they're there. The other exciting news is that Ram appears to be entering V8 production again with the Hemi, which makes me very happy. You've got recovery points down the front there, and then around the side here. Love the look of these wheels. So like a matte black finish on them. You've got all season tyres down here on a 22-inch wheel. So I'll be curious to see how this rides, because this has air suspension. So hopefully they've tuned it in for some nice ride. You've got indicator lamps here, which are required for vehicles at this GVM. You've got these big wing mirrors here as well. One of the things people don't realise is when you are towing a bigger load, this can tow up to 4,500 kilos, you actually need a decent size wing mirror. So a lot of people will have to upgrade these anyway. Even if you are towing with like a 3.5 ton van, you need to be able to see wide. So it is good that these come standard with a wider mirror, but you are probably going to have to look at an extension if you do have something even bigger on the back. Ram badge down the side here. You've got side steps that pop out. Look at that. Pure luxury. It's like a Rolls Royce. You've got privacy glass, Rolls Royce of Utes. The Ram box over here for storing your KFC. There you go, you can whack that in there, or your Indian, so you don't sink out the cabin. Such a clever use of space, and they've integrated something similar to this in the new Tasman. Obviously not as big, but I think it's just, you know, if the space is there, why not actually use it? So it's good to see that exists. Come around to the back with me. Now, around the back, you've got LED tail lights, a 4x4 badge, big Ram lettering along here, limited as well. Now, let's talk about some of your dimensions and payloads and stuff. So 4.5 ton brake towing capacity with a 70mm ball. You have just under 800 kilos worth of payload available in this tray. Got power tailgate, and I like that, but I don't love this. This sort of, I do not understand the purpose of that. Well, I do understand the purpose, which is to cover your tray, but I just don't like the look of it. I'd love to see just a roller cover here that is just easier to use than this contraption here. I just think it's a little bit convoluted, but you do also have the accessory divider in there as well, which helps you sort of segregate things and stop them moving around. Spray and bed liner here as well. So what a nice little setup. Okie dokie, so let me know what you reckon. Do you like the fact that this is now a 6-cylinder? It is phenomenally quick. But do you reckon they should have stuck with the V8? Let me know in the comments section below. Are you still in the market for one of these? I'm curious to see whether people are still fascinated with these American pickup trucks, or do you think the interest has died down? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. So we're inside the 1500. This is what the key looks like. You've got unlock, lock, button there to drop the tailgate, a button there to lower the vehicle, remote start, panic, and then Ram limited on the back there. It's a proximity sensing key, so you can leave that in your pocket. And push button start is just over here. Now, have a look at this interior for about $160,000. This is similar price to the Tundra. This looks like a Rolls Royce in comparison. Like, it is such a nice looking interior. You've got this open pore wood grain, soft touch materials all over the place. Like, this feels properly luxe. You've even got a screen there for your passenger. I do find those things completely useless, but something to show your mates when they hop in your big pickup truck. Yeah, this actually feels like it's worth the price. And if you're spending this kind of money, I really want something that just feels cheap and chintzy. So yeah, this is very nice. Yeah, build quality. What is it like? If you're watching this, that all feels pretty solid, and you're not from Australia, these actually get delivered to Australia as left-hand drive vehicles and are converted to right-hand drive here in Australia. And they're so good at this now that I cannot tell the difference here. Like, it is all absolutely spot on. We did notice a couple of quality issues though with the Tundra that we had. The steering was incredibly hard to move. Apparently it was over tensioned during the conversion process. So I think that, you know, there's probably still a couple of things I can improve there, but for the most part, this all looks and feels quite nice over here. That's what the door slam sounds like. Let's talk about infotainment. It's probably one of the things I love about this thing the most. Look at the size of that screen. It's like over 14 inches in size. You've got a 12.3-inch display ahead of the driver as well. Like, it's a pretty cool looking setup. So in terms of infotainment systems, super easy to use and has shortcut buttons on either side, which I think are just a handy addition to have, plus knobs as well for volume and scrolling. The only issue is that the knobs are kind of still set up in left-hand drive configuration, so volume is all the way over here. It's a bit of a reach. Likewise, just getting little bits and pieces on the screen is a bit of a reach as well. They've got touch controls here for things like parking sensors. They used to have a stack of buttons down here, but now all you have is the manual brake control for the brake controller. So again, wrong side. If you needed to access that quickly, it'd be a little bit of a reach, but sort of not the end of the world. Inbuilt satellite navigation. You've also got smartphone mirroring, wireless in the form of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's Apple CarPlay. Look at that huge display there. It looks fantastic. That's what the home screen looks like. You've got a stack of apps there to actually pick from. You can have auxiliary cameras. There's a lot of different functions here for specifically to do with towing, and you've got inbuilt manual and all that sort of stuff. So that's all pretty cool. In addition to all of that, you have Android Auto. I'll show you what that looks like. Strangely, it's this tiny little display up the top. Can't really see a way to make that bigger, which is really odd. So if there is a way, let me know in the comments section below. On the radio front, you have Harman Kardon branded sound system. It is an absolute ripper, so very impressed with that. AM, FM and DAB digital radio too. Head of the driver, the 12.3-inch display has a number of customizations you can make, different displays and menus you can go through, so there's a fair bit of functionality there as well. And the passenger display, 10.25-inch, again, kind of a weird and pointless thing, but it's there anyway. Also has an anti-glare sort of sticker on it, so I can't actually see anything on that display, even if there is stuff on there at the moment. And I'll show you what the 360 camera looks like. Quality of that is actually pretty decent. You can actually see quite a bit there, which is good. You've got all the different angles to pick from. You've got a trailer cam. I wonder if we've got a bed camera. Let's have a look. Oh, auxiliary cams. No, it doesn't look like it. One of the things I love in the Silverado is just the ability to have a view at what is in your tray, just to make sure it's all still there. If you've found a windy stretch of road or something like that, but it doesn't appear that you have this. But you do have the ability to add auxiliary cameras, which I think is a handy feature to have. And this is what the horn sounds like. Moving on to practicality and your connectivity options. So you've got a raft of USB-C and A, even old school stuff like an auxiliary port and HDMI for that passenger display. Dual RAM chargers. Love a bit of a RAM charger. You've got 12 volt outlet as well. You've got a fair bit of connectivity option there to pick from. So storage, they've done a great job with this. So cup holders, you've got bullet holders. This whole thing moves to give you access to this bottom section, and there's like a little cubby under there as well. This center console is enormous. There is just so much space down there. Yeah, it is really impressive how well they've packaged all of this. So very happy with that. Glove box all the way over here. Reasonably sized there, and Sunny's holder up the top as well. On the comfort front, you have a dual zone automatic climate control. You have heated and cooled seats. You have electric seat adjustments. You can go forwards, backwards. Your backrest can go forwards and backwards. You can lift the front of the seat, the back of the seat. You can adjust your lumbar support, seat memory, plus massage function as well. Steering offers manual tilt and reach adjustment. And like I said before on our reach test, some of this stuff over here is just a little bit tricky to reach. Now, have a look at this. This is where freedom takes place. You've got these seats come up with plenty of storage underneath, or just the ability to give you a flat load floor. I think is a useful addition. I'll climb on in here to show you the space. Look at this. There is so much room here. The knee room is fantastic. Toe room is great. Headroom is pretty reasonable as well. You can also recline these seats too, which I think is a useful feature if you want to kick back and relax a bit. Centre armrest here, which has cup holders, plus this centre tray here for storage. All the way down the front here, heated and cooled outboard seats, USB-C and A charging, air vents, plus cup holders as well. So, great place to be said. Plus a window that opens, which is a handy little feature. Now, windows, do they go up and down all the way? And they are manual down. Yes, they go all the way down. And manual up as well. Boo hiss, that should be auto. Okay, so we've just hit the road in the 1500. So let's start off with the headline act here, which is the Hurricane inline 6 twin turbo engine under the bonnet. So it's a 3-litre turbocharged 6, 403 kilowatts of power and just over 700 newton meters of torque. That is fairly serious stuff. And that's all mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. The good part as well is that you can run it in 2-wheel drive for fuel efficiency and also 4-wheel drive automatic if you do want, I guess, the added traction that you get out of having an extra axle to work with that much power and torque. What does all that feel like behind the wheel? Well, let's give it a little stab here. We'll just see how it goes. Oh yeah, it is unbelievably quick. Like the way it throws you back in the seat is pretty impressive. It just has so much go, and it's a decent gearbox there as well. So it all happens nice and quickly. Only thing worth noting is it just doesn't make a great deal of noise. Like it's pretty quiet, even when you get up it. In terms of fuel economy, so the official claim is over 11 litres per 100 Ks. We're sitting on 17.2, but a lot of that is to do with the fact that this vehicle was actually used in our drag races. So yeah, it is chewed through just a little bit extra there, but given the output of this engine, it will use a lot of fuel, especially if you are on it all the time. So just something worth keeping in mind, but you do have a 125 litre fuel tank, so it's not like you're going to be stopping at the servo constantly for it. Now, let's pick up the pace a little bit. We're going to go over our sine waves here. We do this at 130 Ks an hour. Just gives us a good idea of what the body control's like and how it feels out on a country road where you're going to find these sorts of bumps on occasion. All right. Let's see what this is like. Yeah, it's got a fair bit of float about it. A lot of that comes down to that air suspension. It is designed for comfort. Being an American vehicle, it is sort of very much erring on the side of comfort as opposed to sportiness, which is fine given that this is what it is. And it's not really too over the top. Just if you do tow or add a bit more load to it, it's going to feel a little amplified at times. Okay, bumpy road time. Do this at 90 kilometers an hour. Let's see how this feels. We've got our condensed sine wave here as well. It's actually nicely composed. Like this stuff is genuinely really bumpy, but it is sort of cruising over this without too many dramas. So I'm quite impressed with that. Now, in terms of your drive modes, you've got a drive mode selector here on the wheel. Snow, tow, sport. What else have we got? Off-road, auto. I'm going to slot it over to sport mode. Let's go for a fang. I know this isn't a sports car, but I want to have a crack around the ride and handling track here to see what it feels like. Oh, it is so fast, like unbelievably quick. It is on another level just in terms of how hard it's going here. It is so fast. This engine is incredible. Like it's It is unbelievable how much pace it has. It has no right to be to be this fast. And in terms of the handling, it's actually not too bad. Like it, you know, for how soft the ride is with that air suspension, it's actually handling really nicely. Oh, let's see what it's like along the back straight here. Now, other Rams we've tested before have been speed limited, so curious to see whether this is in the same boat. This is honestly lunacy how hard this is going at the moment. Right, here's the back straight. Let's give this a punch. Yeah, let's see what happens here as we approach that limiter. There it is. Yep. Same limiter as the TRX. So, wow. This is genuinely on another level. Yeah, I have no other words. Keen to drive the RHO, which is like a higher output version of this. That'd be genuinely insane. It is worth keeping in mind as well, these big trucks are great for comfort, but if it is work that you need to do, Ford's about to launch the Ranger Super Duty, which has 4,500 kilo towing, it has 4,500 kilo GVM. It's going to be a proper workhorse with all the safety tech built into it, and it means you don't need to have a big vehicle like this. So if you do want to check out our video of the reveal of that, click up there to watch that. In terms of visibility, pretty standard stuff. You can see quite nicely down the front there, those sort of fake bonnet things are there as well. Big wing mirrors, nice and wide as well, with good visibility down the sides of the vehicle. Good visibility out the back as well with this digital rear view mirror, and you've got the window that opens and closes back there too. Loads of cameras, parking sensors, all that sort of stuff, just to make driving this daily a very easy task. Just in terms of road noise, pretty quiet inside the cabin. You don't really have super chunky all-terrain tyres or anything, but from inside the cabin, even on coarser chip sections of road, it's actually not too bad. We put it up against our calibrated sound meter, and this is how it went. If you do want to see how this car compares to others that we've tested before, there's a link in the description below. Okay, time to do a little bit of performance testing, so I'm looking forward to this. Pop this over to sport mode. Now this has like a sort of quasi launch control style thing for this torque converter, where it dials up like to over 3,000 RPM and then just unleashes hell. So we'll see how it goes. Right, so we'll do 0 to 100 and we'll go all the way through to 120 for our 80 to 120 as well. So here we go. All right. Oh my God, that is quick. All right, there's 100 and 120. My goodness, that is so fast. It has genuinely no right to be this quick. Holy moly, that is insane. All right, so 0 to 100, 5.04 seconds. That is crazy. 80 to 120, 3.52 seconds. That is something else. Wow. All right, let's go back and do a stop from 100. Alrighty, dial up 100 k's an hour, stand on the anchors. Here we go. Okay, so how did that go? 100 to 0, 3.15 seconds, 43.23 meters. So, okay, not amazing. Basically anything between 35 and 40 is good. Given this is an enormous pickup truck, 43 is okay, but not fantastic. Alrighty, let's see how quickly it goes in reverse. Here we go. All right, 41 kilometers an hour. Okay, let's do a little bit of light off-roading. It's going to eat up this course, but I thought we'd do it anyway just for fun. So, key highlights. You have ground clearance of around 220 mil. It can be lifted though using the off-road mode here because it has air suspension with a lifter. So that gives you a little bit more purchase there in terms of ground clearance. Approach angle, 20 odd degrees. So that's the angle of the face you can approach before you hit the front of the car. Departure angle is the same. That is obviously going to improve if you do lift the suspension though. So it gives you a little bit more movement. You've got high range and low range and a manual manual rear differential lock as well. So it's all sort of pretty straightforward stuff. Nothing sort of too crazy. I'll be keen to see how it goes here. Most people aren't going to take a car like this off-road, especially with these tyres on them. So probably not built for this, but I thought we'd give it a shot anyway to see how it fares. Okay, so we'll kick off first in two-wheel drive on our offset mogul, just to see how it performs when we get wheel lift on the rear axle. This will just give us an indication of what the traction control system's like. All right, so it's around there somewhere, so I'll just lean onto the throttle. Biting. Nice. A little bit more of a bite there, and then it will transfer torque to the loaded wheel. There you go. Pretty much exactly how it's meant to work. So very good, awesome. All right, we will head back now and go in the opposite direction. Just due to the wheelbase of this vehicle, it's just going to walk over this. It's not really much of an obstacle, so we'll give it a shot anyway. I'll just pop this over to four-wheel drive auto, and we'll line it up and see how it goes. Alrighty, here we go. Drop that end in. And pop it just there. All right, just lean on the throttle. Yep, a piece of cake. Yeah, the wheelbase of this just kind of stretches over our offset mogul, and it makes it not an entirely challenging thing. So, all right, let's head over to our hill. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pop this into off-road mode. So just using the steering wheel here, go over to off-road, beautiful. What we're going to do now as well is the hill has actually, it was compacted, but it's now being chewed into. We've been doing a whole bunch of testing here recently, so I'll be curious to see how this goes as the sort of car lifts itself up. I'm going to pop this into low range as well. So just a push of that button, there we go, that is in low range. So I'll try going up first without the rear diff locked, constant throttle all the way up. If it gets up there without any drums, I'm going to come back around, come to a full stop, and then just see if it'll take off again with the rear diff lock engaged. So here we go. We are on very much road tyres here, but with decent articulation, I think it should work fine with these ruts. Let's see how we go. Yeah, look at that. Piece of cake. Very nice. Wow, it really does make light work of that stuff. You know, these guys have been doing this for such a long time that it really is a piece of cake to engineer a vehicle that will just walk up that kind of terrain. That's pretty cool. Now, as far as I can tell here, there is no hill descent control. So what I'll do is just pop the camera on so I can guide the vehicle over. And we'll just chuck it over the edge here. All right. Very nice. Breakover angle's great as well there with that air suspension. It just basically gives you more than enough clearance. I know with F-150 sometimes we get beached over that. That just crawls over really nicely. Okay, stop and go time. We'll pop that rear axle lock on. So I'll bring the vehicle to a stop, check that if it has a hill hold, and then jump back on the throttle again. So right around there somewhere. Okay, let go of the brake. Oh, that's interesting. Hasn't got a hill hold. That's really surprising. You don't drive many cars these days that don't have like an auto hold function there when you're in an off-road mode, so a little bit disappointing. All right, we'll roll onto the throttle. So it just means you probably have to ride the brake and the throttle just to hold the vehicle on the hill as you take off. But yeah, that's a little bit surprising, I reckon. So final obstacle on the off-road course is the rocks. Let's see what it feels like in off-road mode in terms of comfort. I'm just going to ride the brake with the throttle here, just to ease it over, just so we don't whack anything. Yeah, it feels like there's more than enough clearance under there to get across this sort of stuff. Obviously, you wouldn't be doing this on highway tyres if you were doing some proper off-roading for a longer time. This is just for an occasional off-road stint, primarily on-road with these tyres. But yeah, pretty comfortable in here, no dramas at all there, even in the off-road mode. Typically when a vehicle is lifted, it does tend to throw you around a little bit, but this actually feels pretty good. Okie dokie, so there it is. Ram 1500 with the Hurricane engine. What do we reckon? So in terms of off-road performance, very straightforward. Like these big American pickup trucks just will go anywhere. and they're very easy to drive with limited knowledge required to engage some of these modes. So that's all fine. Would love to see a hill hold function though there for those inclines. In terms of the rest of the vehicle though, this engine is a cracker, especially the high output version. It goes so hard, like you would just not believe. It is lacking noise though, like it just sounds like a vacuum cleaner. There's no real exhaust sound, so I wish they would improve that somehow. But honestly, for this kind of money, the interior that you're getting is so fancy, so schmick, and I just think you cannot go wrong with this if you do need a luxury, big size vehicle to do big towing and to do touring. I think this would be the perfect option. So let me know what you reckon in the comments section below. Do you like this thing? Would you prefer one of the other pickup trucks in this segment? If you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like it and you share it with your mates. But until next time, take it easy.